Propel Schools was founded in 2003 to make a quality school option available to every family in the Pittsburgh area. Of course, families with means already had access to good schools, so Propel's founders were focused on the communities where those without resources were concentrated, and where good schools were few and far between. Beginning in the former steel towns that surround Pittsburgh, Propel has established 9 high-performing public charter schools serving 3,000 children, significantly improving access to high-quality schools for low-income families. We've learned a lot in our first decade, and we plan to make the most of that accumulated wisdom in our next 10 years, opening more schools, sharing our knowledge with others, and doing even more to help children at Propel dream big dreams and then realize those dreams. "3,000 families are on Propel's waiting list hoping for a slot in a Propel school to open for their child. To us, that's not a badge of honor. It's evidence that we need to work harder and faster to meet the clear demand for quality schools. Part of our plan is to open new Propel schools every year. And as we do that, we'll honor the trust that parents place in Propel by running schools that get better and better each year. But the growth of our own schools won't be enough, so we're expanding efforts to collaborate with great educators in schools that we don't run, leveraging our lessons learned to accelerate the creation of excellent schools in communities that lack them. The engine of Propel's success and innovation is our outstanding core of teachers and leaders. Propel has built a powerful organizational culture that grows and feeds this core. This culture encourages a fearless engagement with facts, a recognition that at every moment there are countless items that are not going as well as we would like, and that each is an opportunity to improve. Our culture fosters a sense of urgency that leads to action, not just talk, even though we know that not every plan will work. It lifts up leaders from within the organization, making Propel an exciting place to build a career. And it stays true to itself even as the organization grows by seeding new schools with teachers and leaders with deep Propel experience. We're convinced that it's our culture rather than any particular structure, like a longer school year or a stricter dress code, that is at the heart of our success. The U.S. Department of Education funded 2 efforts to help us distill the secret sauce behind our culture and bottle it for sharing with others. That work led us to define 6 principles that are behind our success and develop a range of materials to help educators bring these principles to their own practice. Common language is critically important to efforts to familiarize new teachers with Propel's culture, and we feel very lucky to have had the support of the Department of Education in developing this language. First, we ask, are Propel schools excellent academically, developmentally, and socially for our children? Yes, they are. Students are making outstanding academic progress as measured by state and nationally normed tests. They're developing strong, healthy relationships with peers and teachers. Secondly, we ask if our schools have meaningful impact on the overall educational landscape of our region. And yes, they do. A single Propel school can serve 15% of a school district's students. So we are noticed both through cooperation and competition. Not only are our schools better, but other schools are also improving. We are excited to have independent confirmation of our success. Propel was one of the first 12 elite charter school organizations to receive U.S. Department of Education support for replication and expansion. Stanford Center for Research on Educational Outcomes found Propel students were making significantly greater gains than those in the carefully constructed control group attending district-run public schools in both reading and math. Even around Pittsburgh, many people are unaware that Propel is a school system with multiple locations. They don't know that we have a waiting list as large as our current student population, year after year. And they may not be aware of our robust creative arts, science, and technology programs. Some also don't know about our longer school day and school year. Funders and donors who are not from Pittsburgh are unaware that our region has many smaller school districts, making it much easier to have systemic impact, and we are making that impact. We've had a great first decade. We've grown one school in a hospital basement into a network of 9 schools serving 3,000 children. Our schools are delivering outstanding academic results, closing all kinds of achievement gaps that plague public education. Low-income students are exceeding state averages, and our African American students are performing as well as white students. We've received repeated external validation, competitive awards to outstanding charters from the U.S. Department of Education, EPIC awards from New Leaders for New Schools, rigorous research from Stanford University validating academic results, numerous leadership awards recognizing Propel's founders and others in the organization, and programmatic awards singling out our science and creative arts programs. Our first graduates are in college and doing well, and most importantly for the future, we've built a leadership pipeline full of people who understand Propel deeply and are ready to lead the organization through its next 10 years and beyond. Propel is a high-risk, high-reward proposition. We're out to make big changes in a public education system that is extraordinarily good at resisting change. Since its founding, Propel Schools has had to overcome both honest misconceptions and deliberate efforts to undermine our work and undo our success. We've done this with grit and resilience that we hope honors the tremendous grit and resilience that students in our schools show in overcoming the challenges that life has brought to them. We respond calmly even when attacked unfairly. We stay at it even when we are tired. We assume the best in others even when that assumption seems dubious. We seize every opportunity to communicate who we are, providing testimony at school district hearings, proactively speaking with community groups, including myth-busting pages on our website, and using professional memberships as another avenue to clarify our work to our colleagues. Additional resources would allow us to do more to close the gap that typically separates children's life prospects by race and affluence. Over the last decade, Propel has come to a deeper understanding of the challenge of moving students living in communities of poverty to the American middle class. While a strong, positive school experience is certainly necessary, it is not sufficient. Affluent families provide other boosts for their children beyond good schooling. Propel has started to launch support initiatives to complement its school day programs and increase the likelihood that its students achieve success in adulthood. With additional resources, the Propel School Foundation would develop a comprehensive alumni mentoring program, provide more college scholarships, provide travel and summer camp opportunities, and provide exposure experiences at colleges and in academic competitions. We'd also love to establish our own teacher training program that would prepare candidates for work in schools like Propel's. We're looking at several new ways of expanding our impact. We're considering turning around existing schools as an alternative to or in addition to opening new schools. We may expand our work with educators leading improvement efforts in schools we do not run, especially in smaller districts. We're also considering expanding our work with future teachers, perhaps one day creating our own school of education. Finally, we're looking for ways to use our relationships with families to meet other student needs beyond education. For example, in financial services, our first foray has been helping families establish college savings accounts for their children.